Good morning students. Today we'll start with the new lesson, that is lesson number 9, direct proportion and inverse proportion. So what is the meaning of direct proportion? Direct proportion means direct proportion is the relationship between two variables whose ratio is equal to a constant value. In other words, direct proportion is a situation where an increase in one quantity causes a corresponding increase in the other quantity, or a decrease in one quantity results in a decrease in the other quantity. So direct proportion means what? It is a situation where if the one quantity is increasing, then the corresponding quantity will also increase. If the one quantity is decreases, then the other quantity will also decrease. That is what direct proportion. Now we'll see what is the meaning of inverse proportion. Inverse proportion means two quantities A and B are said to be in inverse proportion if an increase in the quantity A, there will be a decrease in the quantity B. So inverse proportion means if there are two quantities A and B, if the quantity A is increasing, then there will be a decrease in the other quantity, that is quantity B, and vice versa. Okay, if the B is decreasing, then the A will increase. If A is decreasing, then the B will increase. Okay, in other words, the product of their corresponding values should remain constant. In other words, the multiplication of their corresponding values should remain constant. Okay, so this is about inverse proportion and direct proportion. In direct proportion, if the one quantity is increasing, the other quantity will also increase. Okay, the corresponding other quantity will increase. But in inverse proportion, if the one quantity is increasing, then the other quantity will decrease. Okay, if the one quantity is decreases, then the other quantity will increase. That is what inverse proportion. Now we'll start with practice set. So this is practice set 37. Question number 1. If 7 kg onions cost 140 rupees, how much must we pay for 12 kg onions? So what is given? 7 kg onions, the cost is 140 rupees, and we have to find the cost of 12 kg onions. So in solution, first let us suppose the cost of 12 kg onions is x rupees. We will consider first. So let us suppose of cost 12 kg of onions is rupees x. The weight of onions and their cost are in direct proportion. Now the weight of onions and their cost are in direct proportion. So as you can see here, therefore 7 upon 140 means this is what 7 kg. Okay, that is what the weight of the onions, that is 7 kg, and their cost is what 140, which is given. The weight of 7 kg onions, the cost is 140 rupees, and if the weight is 12 kg, then the cost is x that we have considered. So 7 upon 140 is equal to 12 upon x. The weight of onions and their cost are in direct proportion. So 7 is what? 7 is the weight of onions, and 140 is cost of that 7 kg onions, whereas 12 upon x, where 12 kg onions cost x rupees. Okay, that we have considered. Now we'll solve this. 7 upon 140 is equal to 12 upon x. Do the cross multiplication. 7 into x, 12 into 140. So see here, 7 into x, what we will do is we'll do cross multiplication. 7 multiplied by x, 12 multiplied by 140, that is cross multiplication. So 7 multiplied by x is 7x, and 12 multiplied by 140. Okay, so now we have to find the value of x. So x we will write down as it is. 7 it will go here, so it becomes divide. So 12 multiplied by 140 upon 7. Now we can cancel this. 7 ones are 7, 7 twos are 14, and here it is 0. Okay, 140 divided by 7, that is what? 20. So 12 multiplied by 20, that is 12 twos are 24, and 0, that is 240 rupees. So what is the value? X is equal to 240 rupees. Hence the cost of 12 kg onions is rupees 240. Okay, or is 240 rupees. So in this way you will solve. Okay, 7 kg of onions cost is given 140 rupees. We have to find out cost of 1 kg onions, so that we will consider it as x, and the weight of onions and their cost are in direct proportion. So 7 upon 140 is equal to 12 upon x. So here we will do cross multiplication. 7 into x is equal to 12 into 140. So x is equal to 12 into 140. This 7 it will go here, so it becomes divide. So 12 into 140 upon 7. Now we can cancel this. 7 ones are 7 and 7 twos are 14 and 0. So here it is 12 multiplied by 20. So the answer is 240. And the final statement is, hence the cost of 12 kg onions is rupees 240. Okay, I hope you are clear with the first sum from practice set 37. Now we'll see the next sum. Now this is question number 3. Okay, so for 9 cows, 13 kg 500 gram of food supplement are required every day. Okay, so for 9 cows, 13 kg 500 gram of food supplement required for every day. In the same proportion, how much will be needed for 12 cows? Now we will find out the quantity of food supplement which is required for 12 cows. Okay, so let us suppose x kg of food supplement required for 12 cows. So what is what the quantity which we have to find out, that we will consider it as x. So here we will consider the food supplement is x. Okay, so let us suppose x kg of food supplement required for 12 cows. The quantity of food supplement and the number of cows are in direct proportion. Now what is given? The quantity of food supplement is given and the number of cows are given, right? For 9 cows, how much quantity is required? 13 kg 500 gram, right? So we have to find out for 12 cows. So that we are consider it as x. Now see here, this is the equation. Therefore 9 upon 13.5, 13.5 means 13 kg 500 grams. So that we are written it as 13.5. 13.5 means 13 kg 500 gram. Okay, so instead of that we are written 13.5. So 9 upon 13.5. 9 is what? 9 is the number of cows. And how much they are required food supplement? 13.5 means 13 kg 500 grams. So for 12 cows, the number of the food supplement that is required, that is what? X. So 12 upon x. So what equation we got? 9 upon 13.5 is equal to 12 upon x. Now we'll do cross multiplication. After writing the equation, we'll do cross multiplication. So 9 multiplied by x, and here it is 12 multiplied by 13.5. So 9 multiplied by x is what? 9x, and 12 multiplied by 13.5. Now as we have to find the value of x, 9 here it will go. So it becomes divide. So what we got? 12 into 13.5 divided by 9. Now we can cancel this here. 13.5 and we can cancel it here by 9. So 13.5 divided by 9. 9 ones are 9. 13 minus 9 is 4. This 5 will come down. Here it is decimal point, and 9 5s are 45. Okay, so what we got? 1.5. So when we will divide 13.5 by 9, you will get it here, that is 1.5. Okay, and which number is there? 12. So 12 multiplied by 1.5. See here, x is equal to 12 multiplied by 1.5. From where we got this 1.5? That is 13.5 divided by 9. Here we got it as 1.5. So 12 multiplied by 1.5, the answer is 18 kg. 18.0 means 18 kg. Okay. Hence the final statement is, hence 18 kg of food supplement required for 12 cows. Okay. In the question, what was given? For 9 cows, the food supplement required, that is what? 13 kg 500 gram. So we have to find out for 12 cows. So that we will consider it as x. So we got the equation, 9 upon 13.5 is equal to 12 upon x. For 9 cows, 13.5 the food supplement is required, that is 13 kg 500 grams means 13.5. So for 12 cows, we will consider it as x. So 12 upon x. After writing this, we will do cross multiplication. So 9 multiplied by x, that is 9x, is equal to 12 into 13.5. So as we have to find the value of x, this 9 it will go here, so it becomes divide. So 12 into 13.5 divided by 9. We can cancel this 13.5 by 9. So here we got it as 1.5. So 12 multiplied by 1.5 is 18 kg. I hope we are clear with this answer. So we have completed first and third one. Now the remaining two sums. Okay, one more we will solve, then the remaining two sums we will solve for homework. Okay, so now fifth one we will start. In the question number 5, two mobiles cost 16,000 rupees. How much money will be required to buy 13 such mobiles? Now what is given? Number of mobiles and the cost is given, right? For two mobiles the cost is 16,000 rupees. So we have to find out how much money will be required to buy 13 such mobiles. So first, let us suppose the cost of 13 mobiles is X rupees. Okay, the quantity which is not given we will consider it as X. Okay, so here what we have to find out? The cost of 13 mobiles. Number of mobiles given, that is 13. We have to find its costs. So cost is what? X rupees, right? So in solution, let us suppose the cost of 13 mobiles is X rupees. Now the number of mobiles and their cost are in direct proportion. The number of mobiles and their cost are in direct proportion. So 2 upon 16,000 means for two mobiles the cost is 16,000 rupees. Therefore for 13 mobiles the cost is X. Okay, so here we got 2 upon 16,000 is equal to 13 upon X. The number of mobiles and their cost are in direct proportion. So 2 upon 16,000 is equal to 13 upon X. Now do the cross multiplication. 2 multiplied by X is equal to 13 multiplied by 16,000. So 2 multiplied by X is what? 2X, and 13 multiplied by 16,000 we will write it as it is. Now this 2 it will go here, so it becomes divide. So X is equal to 13 multiplied by 16,000 upon 2. Now cancel this 16,000 by 2. 2 8s are 16, and how many zeros are here? 1 2 3 zeros. So 1 2 and 3. Now what we got? Here it is 13 and here it is 8,000. So 13 8s are 104, and how many zeros? 1 2 3 zeros. So we will add 3 zeros. 13 8s are 104, 104, and 3 zeros we will add. Okay, because it is 8,000 multiplied by 13. So 8,000 multiplied by 13 is what? 1,04,000. Okay, so this is the answer. So X is equal to 1,04,000 rupees. Hence the cost of 13 mobiles is 1,04,000 rupees. Okay, so this is question number 5. In question number 5, what is given? The number of mobiles and their cost is given, which is the number of mobiles and their cost in direct proportion. Okay, so 2 mobiles cost rupees 16,000. So 13 mobiles cost we will consider it as X. Okay, then after that we will do cross multiplication, and the value for X is equal to 1,04,000 rupees. I hope you are clear with the fifth sum. Now these are the two sums are for homework. Write down these sums. Second one and fourth one, these two sums are for homework. So we have completed first, third and fifth one from practice set 37, right? Question number 2 and question number 4, you have to do the same method for question number 2 and 4. Okay, so these two sums you will solve by your own in your maths notebook. I hope you have written the questions. Okay, it's there in your textbook also, second and fourth one. Now we'll start with the next part, that is practice set 38. Just now we have completed practice set 37. Now practice set 38, it is based on inverse proportion. The sums which we have solved just now, which was given in practice set 37, all the sums are based on direct proportion. Now these sums are based on inverse proportion. We have studied in the starting of the lesson, we have studied about direct proportion and inverse proportion. In direct proportion, if the one quantity is increasing, the corresponding quantity will also increase. But in inverse proportion, if the quantity A is increasing, then the quantity B will decrease, right? So now we'll start with practice set 38. Okay, so I will start with the first sum. 5 workers take 12 days to weed a field. How many days would 6 workers take? How many would 15 take? Now what is given? 5 workers take 12 days. Okay, for 5 workers the days required that are 12 days to weed a field. How many days would 6 workers take? And how many would 15 take? Okay, so first thing is 5 workers take 12 days to weed a field. Therefore, let 6 workers take X days. We will consider, okay, that is X. So for 6 workers, they take X days. The number of workers and days taken by them are in inverse proportion. Now the number of workers and the days taken by them, they are in inverse proportion. Now you will make column like this. Here workers and number of days are given. Workers, if there are 5 workers, they require 12 days, right, which is given in the question. 5 workers takes 12 days. So for 6 workers they require X days, that we will consider. So after writing this, you will make one table where you will write down workers and number of days, the quantity which is given. What is given here? Workers and number of days. So 5 workers they take 12 days. So 6 workers they will take X days, that we are consider. Okay. After doing this, the next step is what? See here. Now here you will do multiplication. 6 multiplied by X, 5 multiplied by 12. Okay, so 6 into X is equal to 5 multiplied by 12. Okay, so this is inverse proportion. So what we will do is, this workers is equal to number of days, that is 5 multiplied by 12 is equal to 6 multiplied by X. Okay, so 6 multiplied by X is what? 6X, right? And 5 multiplied by 12. Now as we have to find the value of X, so X will remain here, this 6 will go here down. So 5 multiplied by 12 upon 6. Okay, see here, 6 into X means 6X is equal to 5 multiplied by 12. As we have to find the value of X, that will remain here, 5 multiplied by 12 upon 6. Now we can cancel this. 6 ones are 6, 6 twos are 12. So what we got? 5 multiplied by 2, that is 5 twos are 10. So what we got? X is equal to 10, means 6 workers will take 10 days. Okay, see here, this X is what? The number of days, that we got it as 10. So for 6 workers, how many days they will take? 10 days. Now in the question, one more thing they asked. Once again we will read the question. How many would 15 take? Now we have to find out for 15 workers how many days they will take. So that we will consider first. For 6 workers it will take 10 days. 6 workers they will take 10 days. Similarly, let 15 workers take Y days. Now we will consider 5 workers they are taking 12 days. So for 15 workers they will take Y days. Okay. For 6 days we are consider it as X. Now for 15 days we will consider it as Y. Okay. So again you will make the same table like the first one, workers and number of days. So for 5 workers they are taking 12 days. So for 15 workers they are taking Y days. Okay. Now after doing this, what is the next step? Just now we did 5 into 12 is equal to 15 into Y. So we will see the next part, that is, see here, 15 into Y is equal to 5 into 12. This 15 it will go here down. So Y is equal to 12 multiplied by 5 or 5 multiplied by 12 upon 15. Okay. So we can cancel this 5 into 12 upon 15. We can cancel this. 5 ones are 5, 5 threes are 15. 3 ones are 3, 3 fours are 12. So what we got? After doing cancellation we got Y is equal to 4. So 15 workers they take 4 days. 15 workers will take 4 days. Okay. So if 5 workers take 12 days, then 15 workers they will take 4 days. Okay. And for 6 workers they will take 10 days. Okay. I hope you are clear with this sum. The first one. In the first one, again we will see what is given. The number of workers and the number of days and the workers are given. Okay. So for 5 workers, they are taking 12 days to weed a field. So for 6 workers, how many days they require? X days. Okay. So we will make one table where 5 workers are taking 12 days, 6 workers are taking X days. Now we have to find out for 15 workers. So 15 workers we will consider it as Y. First we are consider it as X. So for the second one we will consider it as Y. Okay. The method is same. Now X is equal to 10 we got, means 6 workers will take 10 days, and Y is equal to we got 4, means 15 workers will take 4 days. Okay. So this is inverse proportion. When the one quantity is increasing, the other quantity will decrease. As you can see here, as the number of workers are increases, the number of days are lesser. Okay. For 5 workers they are taking 12 days. For 6 workers, the number of days that are 10. And for the 15 workers, as the workers are increases, the number of days required that are 4. Means as the one quantity is increases, the other quantity will decrease. So this is what inverse proportion. Okay. As the number of workers increases, the number of days decreases. So this is example of inverse proportion, where the one quantity is increasing, the other quantity will decrease. Okay, I hope you are clear with the first sum. Now we'll start with the third sum. Mary cycles at 6 km per hour. How long will she take to reach her aunt's house, which is 12 km away? If she cycles at a speed of 4 km per hour, how long would she take? Once again we will read out the question and we'll write down what is given. So this is third sum. Mary cycles at 6 km per hour. For 1 hour, the speed of a cycle is 6 km. Okay. How long will she take to reach her aunt's house, which is 12 km away? The distance is 12 km away. If she cycles at a speed of 4 km per hour, how long would she take? Okay. So here what is given? Speed and the time taken are in inverse proportion. The speed and the time taken, they are in inverse proportion. Therefore, let Mary take X hours to cover distance of 12 km at a speed of 6 km per hour, and she will take Y hours to cover the distance at 4 km per hour. The distance is same, that is 12 km. Okay. See here, now you can see one table here. In the table, speed, time and distance is shown. Distance is same, that is 12 km, 12 km. But the speed is 6 km and 4 km. So for 6 km we will consider the timing, that is X hours, and for 4 km we will consider the timing as Y hours. Okay, both quantity you will not consider same X and X, then you will get confused. You will consider one it as X and the other quantity will Y. Okay. So in this question the speed and the time taken are in inverse proportion. If Mary takes X hours to cover distance of 12 km at the speed of 6 km per hour, and Y hours to cover the distance at 4 km per hour. Okay, the distance is same, that is 12 km, 12 km. But the speed is changed, that is 6 km per hour and 4 km per hour. Okay, and the timing is X hours and Y hours that we have to calculate. Now we'll see the next part. Okay, here the speed multiplied by time is equal to distance. See this, speed multiplied by time is equal to distance. So speed is what? 6 km. The timing is X and the distance is 12 km. Now see the next one. The speed is 4 km multiplied by Y is equal to 12 km. Speed multiplied by time is equal to distance. So we will solve using this. So 6 multiplied by X, that is 6 is what? Speed multiplied by time is equal to distance. Now if the speed is 4 km per hour, the timing is Y and the distance is 12 km. Why? Because for 4 km we are consider it as timing, we are consider it as Y, and for the 6 km per hour we are consider the timing as X. So 6 into X is equal to 12. Why we did 6 multiplied by X? Speed multiplied by time is equal to distance. So 6 into X is equal to 12. Now as we have to find the value of X, so X will remain here as it is on left hand side. Now this 6 it will go here down. So 12 upon 6. Now we can cancel this. 6 1s are 6, 6 2s are 12. So what we got? X is equal to 2. Now we will solve this side. Y is equal to, as we have to find the value of y, we will keep it here. And 4 it will go here down. So 12 upon 4. So 12 divided by 4, that is 4 1s are 4, 4 3s are 12. So y is equal to 3. Right, and here we got x is equal to 2. Mary takes 2 hours at the speed of 6 km per hour and she takes 3 hours at the speed of 4 km per hour. So how much time she required if the speed is 6 km per hour? 2 hours. And if the speed is 4 km per hour, then she required 3 hours. So here also you can see, as the speed decreases, the number of hours it will increase. Okay, here it is 2 hours, here it is 3 hours. As the speed decreases, the number of hours increases. So this is the example of inverse proportion, where the one quantity is increases, the other quantity will decrease. Okay, or the one quantity is decreases, the other quantity will increase. So I hope you are clear with this sum. Once again we will see. So in the third one, what is given? The speed and the time taken are in inverse proportion. Okay, speed is given for 6 km per hour. She needs to complete 12 km. So timing we took it as x. And for 4 km per hour, the distance is same, that is 12 km she has to cover. But the timing is y. We will consider it as y. Now we will solve. 6 multiplied by x is equal to 12 km and 4 km multiplied by y is equal to 12 km. So after doing this, we got x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 3. Right? Means Mary takes 2 hours at the speed of 6 km per hour and she takes 3 hours at the speed of 4 km per hour. Okay, as the speed decreases, the number of hours increases. Okay, so this is inverse proportion. Now these two sums are for homework, that is question number 2 and question number 4. Question number 1 and question number 3 just now we have completed. So these two remaining sums you will solve by your own in the same way, same method you will follow. Okay, both the sums are of inverse proportion. Okay, so second one and fourth one, these two sums are for homework, you will solve by your own in your maths notebook. So I hope you are clear with all the sums. So today we have started lesson number 9, direct proportion and inverse proportion. Then we have solved sums based on direct proportion and the sums which are based on inverse proportion. So today we'll stop till here. In the next session we will start with the next practice set. Thank you so much.